Ahoy and welcome to this week's debacle. Did I say that last week? Every week's a debacle. So if you've been watching, when I brought the boat around, I had to use a jerry can in the cockpit because the fuel, we think, was gummy and horrible. So we need to fix that, which means I've got to pump fuel. My fuel tank is just below here, just in there. So effectively, what I've got nowhere to put this now. This is going to fall over. Hey! So effectively, I've got to get the fuel out, and then I've got to clean the tank, chase the pipes all the way along, clean all the filters, clean it on the engine end, replace any pipes, hoses that look a bit gash, and we should have a good fuel system again. Fill it with some nice, beautiful fuel, and we're done. Problems. This is the only access. I think I've just ripped my shorts. This is the only access I've got. So the trouble is, the filler comes in down here, you can see, and goes up to the deck where the filler hose is. If the fuel level in this tank is higher and it's got fuel in the hose, when I open this, I'm going to get drowned with fuel. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. It sounds quite hollow. I think we might be good. I have this vacuum oil pump. Where's the... There's too much sun. There we go. Huh? This vacuum oil pump thing that I borrowed off Jez. So I'm basically going to stick the pipe in there. I think I might put a solid tube on it so I can direct the pipe around. And maybe suck some stuff off the bottom if there is any. Then get my head in there with a torch and see what it looks like. Effectively, that's what I'm going to try and do. This is in a bin bag to stop any diesel going anywhere. The pipes are in bin bag to stop any diesel going anywhere. I've got some jerry cans on a trolley out there which will also be in bin bags because I don't want diesel everywhere. Luckily on site here at Portland we have a waste oil and waste fuel disposal doodad. So all the shizzle's going to go in there. Right, let's get crack-a-lacking. I don't have an intro anymore because my intro was for the trip. Pretend there's an intro. Radio, first thing second or first. Big grabby doodads. These belong to... Oh, God. The person whose name I've forgotten. I've just been talking to him on Facebook. I am useless. Right, effectively we're going to try and open this bad boy. Ah! I think I've just broke my finger. Effectively we're going to find something else to open this bad boy. Be right back once I've got a splint on. I found some bigger ones. Whee! Ow! Now I'm bleeding. Honestly. It's not a proper job unless you draw blood. It smells like diesel. I'm going to lose that down the bilge. I'll put that up here. Alright, the tank looks to be around 10 centimetres from the top, something like that. I don't think you're going to see in there, but no, it's just a hole. Right. Well, I only drew blood and broke a finger, and I'm only 30 seconds into the job, so it's about normal, really. Just about normal. This is really squeaky when I stand on it. I've just realised that I think it's that movement there. You see how there's movement between that? Maybe I'll fix that while I'm up to it. Try and stop this squeaking. I've got distracted. Right, oil pump. So I've got a pink sock on. So effectively, this, you pump it, it creates a vacuum in here, which then sucks up this pipe and sucks up the fuel or oil or whatever. I didn't end up putting something on the end for the simple reason When I undid it all, I got absolutely caked in oil, and so did my boat, and now I'm annoyed, so it's just getting sucked out, and that's the end of it. So, if we apply some vacuum, you can see the diesel come flying up the pipe there, and into the thing, and then you just wait with the vacuum in until it's emptied, or filled up as much as it does, and then you pump some more. That's basically the head and tails of it. And that's what I'm going to do until that tank's empty. So there's no point me filming that because I'm just faffing around pumping a pump. We'll see how it goes. Alright, first load done, about 30 seconds. So I took the pipe out. I'm now going to carry this outside. The sun's really annoying me. Take this outside, empty it into the jerry cans, rinse and repeat. It'll be interesting to see how much is in there and get a sort of gauge of how big the tank is. I've only got 3 jerry cans, so hopefully it's not more than 60 litres, or I'll be doing 2 trips. But yeah, the system works. So yeah, I'm going to carry on and faff with that bit, and then we'll try and get a look inside the tank. I'm hoping it's not too sludgy, and I'm hoping I don't need to remove the tank, but it may come down to the fact that I need to remove the tank in order to clean it properly, so let's hope not. Right, onwards and onwards. I have the diesel bug. It is official. Let me sit down a minute. I'm on my 3rd pump out. I managed to get the pipe a lot lower down into the thing. You can't really see it, but got the pipe a lot lower down, and it went from red to red with black splotches coming up, and then I got even deeper down with the pipe, and what was coming up was clear. Now the diesel in there is red. If something clear is coming up, that's water. That leads me to believe I've got a cack ton of water in the bottom of the tank. It could be from condensation, it could be a leak on the filler or something like that. But effectively I've got water in the bottom of the tank, which is why the engine wouldn't run on the tank and why it's got diesel bug. So diesel bug, if you don't know, is like a bacteria that lives in the water layer in tanks and stuff like that. So it exists below the diesel in the water that's in the bottom of the tank, and the black sludge, I think, is its poo. I'm not sure, but effectively it's riddled with diesel bug, which is why it wasn't running, which is kind of what I was expecting really. If it was just old diesel will still run, but yeah, I'm a bit concerned with the amount of water in the bottom. But we'll get it all out and we'll see how it goes. I'm just going to continue doing this, and once it's drained I'll try and get an eyeball in there and see what's happening. But yeah, as I was moving the pipe around I could see black splodges coming up the pipe. I couldn't get it on camera because both my hands were occupied. I couldn't get the camera, but yeah, we've got the diesel bugs, which is fine. We'll just kill them. Right, I'll carry on pumper-umpering. Well, I'm going to have a little minute and a vape. Yeah. After a brief interlude, I thought I'd show you the state of affairs. Ugh. So this is the oil extractor. All this is water. The diesel starts here, it ends there. Yeah, I get the feeling that the tank has a sump in it because I'm pushing the thing right the way down into the corner. And I get the feeling there's a bleed off valve in that sump that I can get the water out with generally. This amount of water is not an amount of water that could get in there through condensation. So effectively I'm now of the opinion that somebody's accidentally put water in the tank, or that the tank hose thing is leaking, which is another thing to fix, but you know, it's only an O-ring and a bit of sealant, so that's alright. But yeah, it's like it's just boats, isn't it? You think you're doing one job and then you find 5 more. But it's all good in the hood. I'll get this cleaned out. I'll carry on for a little while. Sun's going down now. But yeah, we'll get it fixed. It is what it is. This may sound stupid, I think it's petrol. It literally smells like petrol. Like proper honks of petrol. Which would make more sense than it being 10 litres of water. If somebody put 10 litres of the wrong fuel in it, that makes more sense than 10 litres of water getting in there. I don't know if petrol and diesel would separate. You'd think that it would, because maybe? No, it can't be. Is petrol denser than diesel? It's not, is it? The diesel would sink. It can't be petrol. There's a real whiff of petrol for some reason. Oh, maybe I'm just being stupid. Right, I'm carrying on. It's been a minute. It's actually been 2 days since I last did a video, so I don't know what I said last. But effectively I've discovered that the tank is a square with a circular sump dropping off it that goes down quite far. I'll try and get some footage of it to show you. Why does this screen all look weird? I'll try and get some footage of it to show you. However, I don't know if it'll work or not. But do not be dismayed. The bottom of the tank, the shelf before it drops down into the cylinder, is just absolutely covered in sludge and diesel bug and rubbish and crap, which isn't good. However, I have made the Bumbletron Dipper 2000. Does that sound right? But alas, it is an old knackered shop vac coming down to the hose to a sellotape doodad, which goes onto a garden hose, which is going to have I'm going to need to find a rod to put on the end of it so I can sort of direct it, and then I'm going to suck it all out, and it's all going to be brilliant. It's going to work perfectly first time with no issues, and then once I've done that, I've got to do everything else. So I'm going to see how that works. This is turning into a bit of a mission, and the trouble is I keep getting called into work because we're so busy, and I can't say no because I need the money. I want to say no, but I can't. So yeah, I'm going to figure something out for a dippy doodad, and then figure something out and try and show you stuff on YouTube. Behold, the directable diesel dipper 10,000. I think this could work, although it probably won't. Oh, we'll see. Alright, semi-success. The Diesel Dipper 5001 dipped the diesel, so the tank is completely drained now, no dregs in the bottom, no nothing. However, I don't have the dexterity with the pole to come in through the thing and get the angles into the corner of the flat bit of the tank. I can go straight down beyond into the sump, but I can't get in like this. The width of the hole and the length of the neck will not let me go at an angle. So do it once, do it properly. The tank's gonna have to come out. It shouldn't be too big of a job. But realistically, I'm not going to be able to clean this tank to a degree that I'm happy with it in the boat, I don't think. And the amount of time I'd spend trying, it's probably just easier to remove the tank. So, next job's rip the floor up. Yay! It actually needs fixing a little bit anyway, so 2 birds, 1 stone. I've got to go in work today as well. I just keep getting called in, I can't get anything done. Right. Stuff. A thing did happen down there. I have a bit of a hole in my floor now, so that happened. But basically, I thought I was going to have to faff about with all this to get the tank out, but effectively this is just screwed in top of the lower tank carrier, so 2 screws get that off. I think it's just a case of undoing these, taking some screws out, and she's out. While I'm in here, there are some other bits of flooring that are a bit... it's just the bits on top, actually. I don't think this to that is quite level, which has caused a crack in the flooring on the top. So I may just put a slither of doodad on there to try and stop that creaking and stuff. Yeah, but we'll see. Check the connections on this, because when you move it around, water glugs out of it. So I want to replace all these water lines anyway, so I'll probably do that too. This is this is turning into one of those jobs, isn't it? It's like, oh well, while the floor's up, you may as well do this, and while you're doing that, you may as well do this, and all of a sudden, I'm a week into a job with no floor in my boat. Let's just get the tank out first and get that sorted, and then we'll assess from there. I think I should be able to just dump the floor back in loose and get everything back together, so at least I can use a boat still and not fall over and die or something. Right, I'll faff about, get the tank out. You can probably just about see and hear water pouring out of there. That's after I've undone this filler. So there's actually water sat in this pipe. Don't know how, why it's not gone in the tank. But there's water sat in there, which means that is where the water's come from, but that was obvious anyway. So yeah, I'm going to replace that pipe. I'm going to reseal the deck fitting. I may even get a new deck fitting, it depends how much they are. And just do that proper. Get this tank out now, take it somewhere and try and clean it. I don't want to do it on the boat because I get full of crap. I might do it in the has waste area, on top of the big grates, the buns or whatever you call them. But yeah, progress. It's still going. The worst thing now is that I really need a poo and I can't get out of the boat. I may do a bit of climbing, although I need a poo quite badly, so I'll probably try and climb and just crap in the boat or something. Come off. It's like I was never here. Ta-da! It's a wee bit wobbly. I just have to watch where I walk because not everything's back in. But the tank absolutely caked in oil, so clearly the bilge has been full with oily water at some point up to that level. It never got above the floor, so that's all right. This was a nightmare. I'm going to show you why it was a pain in the neck, and something very, very weird about it. Very weird indeed. Which points to some previous owner being a clown. But we'll see. Alright, so this is what I found in my filler. I don't know if you know about boats, but filler necks of diesel tanks shouldn't have bungs in them when the pipe goes over the top. And that's what leads me to believe that somebody somewhere was a clown. I don't know who it is, it's clearly been there a while, but effectively what's happened is that the deck filler was leaking, and instead of fixing it, they've taken the hose off, put a bung in the tank, put the hose back on in the hopes that the water wouldn't go past the bung, but obviously wood is porous, so the water out of the pipe has just been dripping into the diesel tank and causing all the problems. So yeah, this has now become a whole other thing. I'm going to have to run another hose to another filler, and I'm going to put it in the cockpit locker, I think. So yeah, that's going to be the plan for another time, but I think this video is about 20 minutes long, so that's probably too long. Yeah, we're going to sign off this week, and then next week or sometime we get this tank done, because I've got maybe 6 days off between now and going away, which is all the time I've got to fully prepare this boat to cross the English Channel. So yeah, this is going to be fun, but join me next week to try and undo this mess, or some other week in the future.